Too often, we take our bodies for granted. But under pressure, our bodies can show us how extraordinary they truly are. This complex machine grew out of millions of years of evolution. So intricate, we're still mystified by many of the things going on inside us. A hidden world, but one we can now explore in 3D as never before. Sensations keep us alive, letting us see, hear, and touch our world. They begin beneath our skin. More than 1 million tiny sensors feed us raw data. 45 miles of nerve fibers let us respond at incredible speed. Our sensations warn us of danger. When we're attacked, they're our first line of defense. They let us perform extraordinary feats. Sensations will even save our lives when we're pushed to the limits. In the teeth of a storm, a pilot guides a 7-ton machine with unerring precision. Achieving this tests the body's sensory system to the extreme. Caught on camera by the Coast Guard, 2 boys face certain death. Just off the Oregon coast, fierce currents have stranded them, and the tide is rising.
We were out maybe quarter, half a mile, something like that. And we swam for like about an hour trying to get to a rock.
I was just getting exhausted. And I just thought I was gonna die, and I thought I was gonna drown. Couldn't believe it.
Their only hope is a helicopter. $9 million worth of high technology. But with winds battering the chopper, what matters more to the boys is a mechanism far more complex than any helicopter. 500,000 microsensors linked to one of the most sophisticated communication systems on the planet. You'll find it beneath your skin. We're equipped with a forest of amazing devices, including touch receptors, sensitive enough to feel a single beat of a fly's wing. Pilot Matt Gingrich needs all his sensors on full alert to save the boys.
We had about 30-knot winds, and the rocks around us. It's nerve-wracking, very nerve-wracking.
Each square inch of Matt's hands holds 600 touch sensors. Some, near the surface, record the lightest of contacts. Others lie deeper and measure harder sustained pressure. Through a web of nerves, they fire signals to Matt's brain. In fractions of a second, the brain signals motor nerves, triggering precise movement of his hand on the controls. 4,000 nerves direct each hand as he holds the chopper steady above the rocks. At the same time, Matt's other sensors are hammering him with information. He must read data from a dozen instruments and watch the horizon. He must listen to the crew, who can see what's going on below. Amid all this, Matt's sensory system must calculate and balance altitude, speed, and position. That means outperforming any computer on Earth.
Easy back. All right, either way, we'll take up signal.
We still don't have a machine that has the breadth to be able to do all of those different things, and at the same time, instantaneously is assessing the outcome of each one of those things.
Nice, easy, sir, right 30, forward 15. Easy back, you're doing good.
The speed of signals in Matt's nerves is crucial to his actions.
You're right there, you're doing perfect.
It keeps the rescue swimmer from crashing into the rocks.
You can hold it right there. Hold position. Hold.
What's surprising is the nerve structure that makes the speed possible. Our nerves are bundles of thin cells, some more than 3 feet long, carrying electrical signals to and from the brain. As insulation protects electrical wiring, a sleeve of fat surrounds key nerves. And it's this fat layer that keeps signals from interfering with one another, so they can rocket around Matt's nervous system at over 250 miles per hour.
Easy back and left, very easy back and left. We don't want to get the swing. You're going left here.
With the rescue swimmer dangling close to the rocks, this is the trickiest part of the operation. Matt's nerves work so fast and his touch is so precise that he can make tiny adjustments without thinking. He's acting on instinct, depending on sensations working faster than we can think. It's something we all do, every day. It lets us make music, create art, and save lives.
Okay, swimmer and survivor are below the aircraft. Hold. You're doing good, Mr. Davis. You're doing good.
They risked their life to save mine, and we all got out of there safe, and if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be alive right now.
This forest of touch sensors allows us to respond instantly to whatever's happening around us. But they're not evenly distributed beneath our skin. Our hands have 100 times as many sensors per square inch as the back of our legs. They're placed where we need them most. If size went by sensitivity to touch, our bodies would look something like this. Tongues and lips twice as big. The same with hands, fingers, and feet. Other senses have different patterns. Sensors for heat are most dense in our fingertips, nose, and strangely, our elbows. They play a critical role. When we're pushed to the limits, they might just keep us alive. All over the human body, every second of every day, nerves carry sensations to our brains. Even when we don't realize it, these signals control how our bodies function. When it gets hot, sensors and nerves work together to keep us alive. The deep Australian desert can reach 130 degrees. It's no place to get stranded. But that's what happened to Matthew McGough and his daughter Shannon, more than 100 miles from the nearest town. It's so hot here that a cut of beef left outdoors would roast in less than 4 hours. Yet Matthew and Shannon are still alive 8 days later. Moments after their pickup truck breaks down, their bodies go into action to hold their core temperature at about 98.6 degrees. It's all thanks to hundreds of thousands of tiny heat sensors and the cooling system they trigger. When our skin heats up beyond 93 degrees, sensors signal our brain. Its central thermostat uses other nerves to start the cooling process. 1 hour later, both of them are sweating profusely. There's no more efficient way to cool the body. Beneath our skin lie over 1 million tiny sweat glands. When we heat up, our blood vessels dilate, bringing blood and heat to the skin surface more quickly. The sweat glands extract water from the blood and release it into the open. As it evaporates, it cools us. Under ordinary conditions, we produce about 2 pints of sweat a day. But in extremes, we pump out a lot more. This guy's churning out heat as he runs, and what's more, the room temperature is being increased at the same time.
The amount of sweat you're producing, but more importantly evaporating, is just enabling you to release the amount of heat and lose the amount of heat from the body that you're producing through exercise. And we're seeing no increase now in the sweat production, which suggests to us that you're sweating at about your maximum rate.
The man's near the sweat limit, 4 pints an hour. But the water has to come from somewhere. The human body is 75% water. To survive, our vital organs need their share of that fluid. Normally, we have enough to spare for the cooling system, provided we keep the body filled up. After 4 days in the Australian desert, Matthew and Shannon have run out of water. Losing as little as 3% of the body's water can cause cramps, headaches, and disorientation. They're so dehydrated, they start to hallucinate.
The heat itself, the heat plays tricks on your mind. Trying to keep your mind on the job of surviving and getting out of things and getting things done and this, that, and everything else.
Now, their bodies must respond to the water loss. To keep the body's vital organs supplied, the brain fights back with a surprising response. Overriding the body's thermostat, the brain orders the sweating to stop. The sweat glands drain dry. Next, nerves signal other parts of the body to suck water back into the heart, lungs, and kidneys. The blood thickens and coagulates. Water is absorbed from the large intestine, causing constipation. Even the eyes dry out.
We'd had a good cry together about, you know, whether we'd see Christmas or not, or whether Shannon would see her mum again or whatever, you know. And if we'd had the moisture in our body, there would have been plenty of tears, but there was none, so, you know.
I can remember how your mouth's all dry and you can't really swallow because there's nothing there to swallow with.
Your tongue's like having a brick in your mouth.
Shannon and Matthew are near collapse. But instead of cooking in the heat, the network of sensors beneath their skin has kept them alive for over a week. They survived because their bodies balanced the need for water and the need to keep cool. Their brains even trigger one final instinct. They just managed to dig in, insulating their bodies from the searing desert. It's enough to save their lives.
Just jumped up out of the ground and started waving my hands frantically. And he had lots of nice cold rainwater on board, eh? That was good. Yeah, and I grabbed this bloody great big jerry can full and upended it and went straight through us. But yeah, it was good. It was nice, cool, cold, clean rainwater. It was awesome. Yeah.
Our body's temperature responses can be the difference between life and death. Alongside heat sensors are other nerve endings programmed to deliver another crucial sensation: pain. Pain signals us to slow down. Each of us responds differently to that message. Most of us would rather do without it. But believe it or not, pain keeps you alive.